Welcome to Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce. I'm Elise, your resident tech expert and author of the book Browser versus Buyer. I've worked with entrepreneurs for over 6 years, and I've helped hundreds of creatives overcome their technology fears. Gain clarity and direction in your business with the Elise's E-commerce Elevator 6-month group coaching program. Join now at myscheduledbiz.com/elevator. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so today we're going to be talking with Eric Melchor. He's a Personalization Ambassador at Optimonk and host of the Innovators Can Laugh podcast. After overseeing online marketing programs for major companies in Texas, Eric moved to Eastern Europe and started working in SaaS. Since then, he has worked for customer personalization-obsessed startups, including Optimonk, where he oversees partnerships. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why creating a personalized shopping experience is so important to your business, the technology that's required, and walk away with one action step. Now, Eric, I am so glad to have you here to share your expertise with us. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and your experience with e-com?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is mostly in customer experience, digital marketing, currently working for Optimonk. We are a web personalization platform. We provide SMBs a personalization platform that they can use so that they can basically provide their audience with an in-store like shopping experience, just really making that customer journey as pleasant and delightful as it could be. In terms of my background with e-commerce personally, I've created a few e-commerce retail sites. The first one bombed. This was like 15 years ago. I tried selling advertising data analysis tutorials online. How sexy does that sound?
That sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Bizzers though.
Yeah, it's what I knew. I used to work for this large agency, and I was doing I was in analytics and analyzing their advertising campaigns. And I said, hey, if a person can use Excel, I can show them how to do regression modeling with Excel. I can sell these tutorials to other agencies. And it didn't quite work out that way. And then the other experience was a lot more fun. It was more of a quiz funnel, and I got a lot of people through that funnel using Facebook ads, and that was a good experience, and it was fun. But eventually gave that to an energy retailer so they could use it and have fun with it. And so now with Optimonk, well, we have thousands of users that are using our platform across a variety of like WooCommerce, Shopify, and all other CRMs and email marketing platforms out there. So that's a little bit about my experience.
So I'm going to call you out on something because we all do it, and I just want to make sure the Bizzers can follow. Tell us what SMBs stands for.
Yeah, small and mid-size businesses.
There we go. And tell us what CRMs stands for.
Oh, so this is like a customer relationship management platform. There's different platforms. You've probably heard of HubSpot, maybe even ActiveCampaign. Those are some of the platforms that SMBs would probably be using.
So it's just a lot of my Bizzers are not very techy. And so when we start using abbreviations, they just go, what? So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
I had to ask somebody the other day on LinkedIn, what was the acronym was something like BF something something. And I felt kind of dumb because there was a lot of engagement. And, you know, I'm one of those people that if I don't know it, okay, F it, right? I'm like, hey, what does this stand for? He goes, oh, that's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, my daughter's school makes everything an acronym. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, BF, yeah, CM. I'm like, oh, of course, you know, after you hear it. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Then it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So Optimonk is for small or medium-sized businesses. That was what I was trying to get out for those people who didn't know. And we'll talk more about it in just a minute. But let's talk about the personalization of the shopping experience. So how does a personalized shopping experience impact sales? And why is it important key to increasing those sales? Before we jump into the rest of the episode, please share this podcast with other business owners that it can help. Also, be sure to stick with me to the end of the episode to learn your challenge for today and implement what you've learned.
Yeah, well, it impacts it in the short term and the long term. In the short term, it's going to help you increase conversions in the average order size. In the long term, you're going to get more repeat customers, which means you're going to get more customer loyalty, and also a higher customer lifetime value, which means more people coming back to your shop. And a returning visitor actually spends 2 to 3 times the amount as a new visitor. So that just means a lot more revenue and profit for your business. So when you start personalizing the experience, giving offers and content ideas and recommendations, and just really making the entire journey at each step meaningful and relevant, then that makes the customer journey a lot more enjoyable. And that person, when they are purchase ready, they're going to think of you. And so that's what we're really trying to tell our clients is like, hey, think like Amazon and take that long-term approach when you think about personalization, because it's worked so well for them. It's worked so well for Netflix, right? I mean, those recommendations that it gives you, sometimes you go down like a rabbit hole. Even Spotify. I listen to a lot of new music because of their algorithm, and it knows what I liked, and it makes really good suggestions. And with Optimonk, we're trying to give retailers the same kind of power.
Yeah, so make it so the small guy can have the same tools as the big guy.
Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do. Yes.
Yeah. So how does technology play a role in personalizing the customer shopper experience? And is there any specific tech that you recommend? Want more help with your e-commerce brand? Subscribe to Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce on your favorite podcast platform so that you don't miss any of the episodes that are released every week to help you grow your e-commerce shop.
Yeah, well, let me give you a couple of examples here. So, shopping experiences, they don't really resemble the in-store experience. So if you go to an in-store experience, let's say you go to Sephora or somewhere else, you walk in, especially if you're in Texas, you get that Southern hospitality. You're greeted with a warm smile, a pleasant voice. Hi, how you doing today? Can I help you? Right? And even if you say no thanks, they will generally leave you alone. But then if you're trying something on and maybe you need some help, maybe you need another size or another color, that person is usually there for you to help you out, right? They're there to hold your hand, and it's a pleasant shopping experience. But when you go to an online retailer, right away, you get bombarded with these pop-ups like, hey, give me, you want a 10% discount, give us your email address. It's all one-way conversation. You've got like the intercom bubble, chat widget that's popping up. In some cases, you have like this urgency, deadline, messaging appear like, oh, you get this offer for like the next 30 minutes if you buy now. And these brands, they've been accustomed to just try and get your email address, try to get the quick sale at whatever cost, and it really ruins the experience, right? It's just a bad shopping experience, right? And so kind of going back to what you were saying, the tech that's out there is that previously this tech didn't exist. And if it did exist, SMBs didn't really have the power to use it because it required a lot of coding. It required a lot of IT knowledge. But now there's platforms out there like Optimonk, which is the one that I recommend, that's really designed for marketers. No coding necessary. You don't have to have a dev background whatsoever. It's really sort of like drag and drop. And I don't even know HTML, and I can use this platform. So that's the platform I recommend if you want to try and get into web personalization.
So the Bizzers, this is right up their alley. This is the Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce podcast. So drag and drop is exactly what we're looking for.
Absolutely, drag and drop. I mean, we even provide like different templates. Templates is what we're known for. So there's a variety of templates out there for different campaigns that you can use. And you don't have to go looking in the data, scrubbing the data, doing any sort of segments. We literally have icons that say, hey, is this campaign for returning visitors? Or is it just for new visitors? Or is it for visitors that have subscribed to your campaigns? Or is it for non-subscribers? So there's all kinds of little segments that you kind of drag and drop for specific campaigns. And then, of course, we make recommendations for which types of campaigns that you should be doing for each segment.
So give us an example of something that would be a customization. So, we're talking about personalizing the website shopper experience, but it's all kind of heady right now. Like, I don't know what it is you actually mean. So let's tell the Bizzers an actual thing that is something that you could do with Optimonk or whatever platform to make your website be personalized for your shoppers.
Yeah, so one thing that you can do, and I highly recommend, is try to start a conversation with them, okay? So maybe you have a store. I'm going to use a couple of examples here. Maybe there's a health store, and you provide a a few different products. Maybe one of your products helps people lose weight. Another one helps them gain muscle, and another one helps them sleep better. Maybe those are your top 3 products. Somebody comes to your site, you don't know anything about them. You could show them a message and just ask, which are you interested in? And give them those 3 options. And then based on their answer, whatever they select, the next message could actually show them content pertaining to their answer. So basically, you're taking that data that they provided you and now customizing their experience in real time. So even better is that data can actually feed into your CRM platform if you get their email address. But let me go back real quick. So let's say somebody said, I want to gain muscle. Right. Fantastic. Here's our best articles that you may be interested in on how to gain muscle. And if you're interested in, here's our top selling products on how to gain muscle. Right.
Yeah.
That is holding their hand online and directing them to the location on your website that they're likely most interested in based on their own answer. So that is an example of taking personalization based off activity or engagement from the user. There's actually a cool website that we work with, and I'm a wine lover. Do you like wine, Elise?
I do.
Okay, so if you ever go to there's this wine store called wink.com, and they've got a lovely experience. If you go there, they ask you, do you prefer red or white wine? You can even answer like mostly white or whatever. And then they ask you, what flavors do you like? Cranberry, citrus, blackberry, strawberry. And then after that, they even have some fun questions like, okay, some lunatic mixed Skittles and M&Ms in the same bowl. Which do you pick out to eat? M&Ms or Skittles, right? I don't know how this impacts the algorithm or the quiz, but anyway, it's fun to take. And then it asks you, like, what regions do you like? Do you like France, South Africa, Spain, Portugal, or Austria, from the wines that you like? And then it tells you, great. Well, we have your customized wines for you. If you like to see them, enter your date of birth and email, and we can show them to you. Now, that is just a really fantastic way to start, starting the conversation with somebody, getting the engagement, and showing them a personalized offer based on their preferences. And even better is that you can take that information and plug it into your email marketing system, and that way you're starting to market to them through your email marketing programs, but sending them the content that's most relevant to them. And if you do retargeting, instead of just sending out retargeting ads that you know nothing about, now okay, this person that's tagged with this identifier should be seeing ads based on red wines from Chile or something like that. So it's going to improve your marketing spend, and then also it's just going to improve that engagement. You're going to get a lot more subscribers, a lot more conversions, because now you're targeting them with relevant offers and content that they're interested in. And it just makes the experience a lot more enjoyable too. So those are a couple of examples right there.
Yeah, those are great. So I actually just implemented something like this on my own website. I mostly target e-com, but I have a lot of more broad entrepreneurs that have started following me because I do a lot of tech stuff. And so I actually have a very simple question, and it just says, what path to success are you on? E-commerce, I sell physical products, or I am a coach, or I sell services. That's it. But it makes it so much easier to segment things out and know what's going on. But I will say, so I have a question for you. So you mentioned being able to do retargeting, which I just want to do a little snippet here for those of you who may not know what that means. It means someone has already engaged with you, and you're going to put an ad specifically for them that they've already engaged with you. So you're retargeting them. So you've already taught them once, just in case anyone doesn't know. But with the retargeting, if you were to use Optimonk, presumably there's a way for you to put in the ads that they have that specific tag for whatever it is was the question was, correct?
Yes, we have a Facebook integration, and so you'll be able to do advertising based on the tag identifiers that you have for them specified in Optimonk.
Okay, awesome. So guys, you can transfer this over to your email, so you can make sure you're sending them the right emails. You can transfer this over to your ads for Facebook. What about Google Ads?
Google Ads too, you can take the UTM parameters and just use the same UTM parameters for Google Ads as well.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we have one last question, but was there anything else that you wanted to share before I ask you my final question?
Yeah, just another quick, great example here. BlendJet. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Really a fantastic Shopify success story. But they were running campaigns. They discovered that the majority of their traffic was coming from mobile. And if you look at e-commerce today, much of the traffic is through mobile. The bad thing about this is that the bounce rate tends to be twice as high on mobile versus desktop, and the time on site tends to be just half as much, right? So BlendJet saw this. They were trying to figure out, well, how do we provide a good experience on mobile and not lose these people that are coming to our website? So they use Optimonk, and they showcased a mobile pop-up to mobile visitors that had been on a product page longer than 30 seconds. They experimented with asking for, would you like a 10% off discount coupon? If so, give us your email address. They did an A/B test. And so asking for the email address was one part of the test, and the other part was a one-click subscription to their Facebook Messenger, so they could get the discount through Facebook Messenger. And ultimately, that Facebook Messenger worked really, really well. It was just a one-click, and you subscribed, and you got it through Messenger. And 13.5% of visitors who saw that pop up ended up subscribing. And so that's just a really good success story. So anybody who's seeing a lot of traffic coming in from mobile, if you don't have to really be an analytics pro, but take a look at your bounce rate. If it's a lot higher than desktop, then maybe you need to figure out, what can I do to try to get those visitors engaged and to come back if the bounce rate is pretty high on mobile and you're getting a lot of traffic.
So again, I'm going to give an explanation for those of you who don't know. Bounce rate means that someone looks at just one page on your website. So it's the percentage of people who go and look at one page and then immediately leave. That's called a bounce. So when you have a high bounce rate, it means people are not staying and looking around your site. I just want to make sure that everybody understands what we're talking about. To that end, I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this, but it's something that I've been really considering. The switch to GA4, they're no longer giving us bounce rate per se. It's completely different metrics. Do you know anything about what we're using to replace the bounce rate there?
Man, I don't know.
Because I've been looking at it and I have some ideas, but I was just curious if maybe, because bounce rate at this point, when GA4 is the only option we have, is almost not going to be something we're going to have a metric for anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, we mostly, our analytics mostly looks at conversions, like people who signed up for like an email subscription or something like that. But if you can't look at bounce rate, then time on page is probably another good indicator.
The best, yeah. So you guys have a bounce rate incorporated into Optimonk?
No, you still have to go. Still have to go into GA.
Okay, okay, that was what I'm wondering. And also, I should mention that I did it myself. GA4 is Google Analytics. I just want to make sure everybody knows it is the new Google Analytics that's rolling out in July of 23. If you have not already set it up, you need to. There's a free video on my YouTube channel on how to do it for WooCommerce or Shopify. So, I mean, I feel like we kind of did the whole gambit there, Eric.
Yeah, I know. Hey, this is great. This is fantastic.
All right, so I do have one final question, because this is how I like to, kind of end the podcast every time. And that is, what is one thing that every listener should implement today when it comes to personalizing their customer shopping experience?
Okay, I would say get rid of the pop-ups if you are showcasing pop-ups that are showing before 30 seconds that somebody has been on your website for at least 30 seconds. Get rid of that, because that really is annoying. If somebody doesn't even know you and they see that, it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and more than likely they're not going to subscribe after that, and they're probably not going to come back to your website. So stop doing that. What you can do instead is use an exit intent pop out. An exit intent pop out is when somebody tries to leave the page or leave the website, then you can have a message that appears, and it doesn't necessarily need to try to capture their email. I would just recommend, were you able to find what you were looking for today? Try to get some feedback from them, ask them a question, and then you could take that feedback, take those insights, and make some changes where needed on your website. So again, don't show a pop-up for somebody that's been on your website less than 30 seconds. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, so I've heard this analogy before. I'm sure you have too, and you may even already know what I'm about to say. When you have your pop-up before 30 seconds, it's almost like asking someone to marry you when you first met them. They haven't even decided if they like you yet. And you're like, I want all your information, give it to me. So yeah, give them a minute to become acquainted with what it is that you're doing and decide if they even are interested, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's also a valuable place to get insight into what you might need to change on your website, like Eric said. So, okay, that's all I have. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today, Eric. If our listeners want to know more, how can they find you?
Optimonk.com. You can also go to YouTube, look up Optimonk. We've got a wealth of videos there for educational and training. If you want to reach out to me personally, I'm on LinkedIn. Just look for Eric Melchor, ERIC, Melchor.
And the name should be showing up here as well. It's on his video over there. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. And Bizzers, I will see you next time. If you like what we're doing here at Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce and it's helping you gain clarity and direction in your business, you should check out Elise's e-commerce elevator. In this 6-month group coaching program, I'll guide you through the ins and outs of building a business for purchase conversion. You'll also get to join up with a small group of other e-commerce shop owners who are focused on building exponential growth and reaching the right audience. Head over to myscheduledbiz.com/elevator and join us. We welcome a limited number of new members every 6 months, and by signing up today, you'll reserve your spot. Thanks for listening. See you next week right here on Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce.